Hi, I'm Katie Ziskind. I own Wisdom Within Counseling and Coaching, located in Niantic, Connecticut. We also offer video sessions anywhere that you are located. You can learn more about family estrangement counseling and marriage and family therapy by booking a free phone consultation at wisdomwithinct.com. That's wisdomwithinct.com. My team and I love helping families thrive after complex trauma. In this video, we're going to be talking about an adult child who has cut their parents off. So if you are parents on the opposite side of an estrangement, where your adult child will no longer speak to you, no longer talk to you, and may even be sending your letters back unopened, it can be very painful. You might be going through a mourning process. You might be jealous that your own siblings, your child's aunts and uncles, still get to have a relationship with them when you don't. You might feel really angry at your child for the power that they hold and how they've cut you off due to their own willpower. You might feel really upset because your adult child might still speak to your spouse or still speak to their siblings and has chosen not to speak to you anymore. It's really normal to even miss your child. Despite having also anger and jealousy, you might really miss your child being in your life. You as a parent, you remember the day you brought them home from the hospital or the day you adopted them. You remember them taking their first steps and learning to crawl and learning to walk. You remember them saying their first word. You have these really fond memories of your child being, a toddler and a youngster. And when your adult child has now grown up and decided that you are to blame for all of their trauma and all of their pain, it can be very, very difficult. And so when you're a parent, you may be on this opposite side of a cutoff and dealing with intense emotions of your own. You might have anxiety about an upcoming family celebration, a family reunion, a wedding, a holiday, Christmas or Hanukkah gathering, where typically everyone would come together and be in celebration. You as a parent might have anxiety because it's either you or your adult child being there, and your adult child has told everyone they're not going to go if you go. And so now you have to choose between going to a family celebration that brings you joy or, forcing your adult child to not be there. And that can be very complex and confusing. As well, you may also have severe grief and sadness. You might have troubles concentrating at work. You might, have felt a sense of depression where you no longer find joy in the hobbies and activities you once liked to do because of this cutoff and estrangement that your adult child is kind of doing to you. You may also feel, like you can't sleep at night because you're worried, and having a relationship with your adult child really brought you a lot of joy and reassurance as a parent. And now that as a parent, you don't get to have a relationship with your adult child, you feel like an outcast. You may go out to tea or brunch with your friends of your own age who are also parents of adult children, and you might feel uncomfortable because you can't talk about your adult child without getting tearful or without crying, because it's so painful that all your friends still get to have a relationship with their adult children. And as a parent, you don't get to share in those same memories. Your adult child may have even gotten married and refused to invite you to their wedding, or had their first or second child and you were not allowed to be a part of those milestone moments because your adult child, chose not to have you involved. And that can be so painful when, our society tells us that, when you have a child, that child's going to be in your life, your whole entire existence, and they're going to take care of you when you're old, and they're going to call you on Sunday evening to check in to see how you're doing, and you're going to have this relationship. And when that is not intact anymore and it feels like your family's broken, and your child won't speak to you, it can be devastating. It can really have a ripple effect in many different areas of your life. And what therapy can help you do is understand how to heal. So how to mourn, how to grieve, how to accept, how to really be right where you are and know that feeling all the feelings that you do is really healthy. Sometimes parents will take part in negative coping skills as a result of such intense emotions. So numbing behaviors might include cheating, affairs, infidelity, as well as alcoholism, drug use, technology addiction, and just overall becoming a workaholic. So if you are kind of numbing out these emotions, therapy can help you gain positive coping strategies as a parent. So that when your adult child does want to reconnect, you can be the best, most authentic version of yourself that you can possibly be. And you can be grounded and calm when they do want to reconnect too. A lot of times, adult children will cut off their parents or become estranged because of a complex trauma experience. And this is different for each parent and child. And so looking at this, journaling about this, talking with your therapist about these can be very helpful to understand what your child went through. So yes, you may have had these beautiful memories, putting them on the bus for the first time for their first day of kindergarten, or, being there, at their school meetings and helping them do their homework, and picking out their clothes for the first day of school and all these great things. But you might also have really painful memories where maybe as a parent, you may have made a mistake. You may have acted in a way that was emotionally immature. Or you may have yelled at your child, or you may have, kind of lost your cool, so to speak. And sometimes adult children cut off their parents and decide that it's unhealthy for them to kind of have a relationship because there have been experiences of sexual abuse, incest, molestation, unwanted touch, as well as emotional and physical abuse or emotional neglect. So as a parent, it can be really helpful to go to counseling to better understand, the impact you may have had on your child when they were growing up, and kind of, take ownership for those things. Part of every healthy relationship is ownership, being able to apologize, being able to say, hey, that wasn't my best self, and I'm so sorry. And these are the steps that I'm taking now to make sure that doesn't ever happen again, so that you feel safe. So being able to do that as a parent is actually so, so healthy and so empowering. So better understanding the trauma experiences your child went through can be really, really insightful and helpful and part of reconnecting with them and healing from the estrangement. Also, there may be unresolved trauma experiences you never knew happened. So besides the ones that you might be really aware of, your child may have experienced, sexual trauma from a teacher, from a coach, from someone on the playground, and never ever told you about it, and now be projecting some of that blame on you as a parent, thinking that, oh, you should have protected them, but you may not even know this even happened. So being able to attend family therapy for estrangement with your adult child can actually help you better understand their story and better understand some of the trauma experiences they've kept a secret for decades and may be underneath the reason for the estrangement. And a lot of times adult children can benefit from counseling for family estrangement because they may not think there are other options besides cutoffs. So your adult child might think, okay, the only way I can deal with life is by becoming estranged from my parent and cutting them off. Whereas counseling can actually teach your adult child how to have healthy boundaries so that there can still be some type of relationship that supports you both in feeling emotionally safe and emotionally cared for. Versus feeling exhausted from the conversations, or confused or angry, or having another explosive angry blow up. You can actually start to have healthy boundaries and a safety plan in place for when you both start to feel triggered or emotionally dysregulated or upset, what happens next. And your therapist at Wisdom Within Counseling, who specializes in family estrangement work, can actually help you write down even a safety plan and have a set of rules for your relationship to make sure you both are kind of abiding by, these healthy boundaries so that you can have a relationship together. And counseling can help you have a healthier relationship with your adult child than you've ever had before. So it can be a wonderful experience for both of you together. Now, we want to talk about in this video some do's and don'ts when it comes to reconnecting with an adult child who's cut you off. So it can be very, very painful. You can feel angry, you can feel jealous, you can feel worried, you can feel anxious, you can feel uncomfortable, you can feel nervous, right? All these emotions. And the most important thing to do when you are looking to reconnect is not reach out when you are experiencing intense emotions. because when you reach out in that state of mind, it can be really overwhelming for your adult child. It can also cause them to withdraw more deeply and pull away from you and see you as someone who is crazy or dysregulated or unstable, and they don't know what to do with those feelings. So reach out to your child only when you're feeling calm, and only do so with a short, polite, respectful message. Hey, how are you doing? I hope school's going well. Short and simple and sweet is the way to go. You don't want to reach out and say, I can't stand that we don't talk anymore, or call them names for not talking to you, or try to lure them to be in a relationship with you by paying for things for them or giving them money. Oftentimes, it can be really, you might really want to buy your child a new car or a new laptop or help them with something financial. But the first step is actually developing healthy relationship skills and emotional validation skills, because oftentimes if parents do offer that big gift or money, which can be very generous and loving, come from a place of good intention, an adult child will often just cut them off after receiving that gift. So nothing has actually been repaired or talked about in the relationship. So we want to do that relational work first in counseling before a gift or something like that. So don't reach out when you're experiencing a lot of emotion or in a place of anxiety. Just reach out in a short and sweet way. And think of rekindling a relationship with your adult child like going on a first date. If you go on a first date, you're just going out for a little bit of a bite to eat, you're keeping it fun, you're keeping it simple, you might even be laughing, right? There's not an intense emotion. There's not a truckload of emotion that you're dumping on someone. And so counseling can help you really identify how you would like that first encounter to go. And you can even do it with the presence and the mediation of a therapist at Wisdom Within Counseling. And when you are a parent on the opposite side of a cutoff, just know that it can really impact other people in the family. So, with that upcoming family gathering, other aunts and uncles and cousins and, siblings to your adult child might be affected. And so you can do family therapy sessions with those loved ones too. You and your spouse, or you and your, their grandparent, or you and one of their other siblings, your other child, can come to counseling with you and process how this has affected them as well. Because cutoffs and estrangements affect all different members of the family in different ways. Everyone has different emotions and intense emotions from a cutoff. So having a space to talk about those feelings can be very healing. And family estrangement counseling can help you as a parent learn to express your emotions. You can talk about your own childhood. Maybe you had a parent that threw dishes, that slammed doors, that yelled at you, that belittled you, that shamed you for being who you are. And, processing your own parenting. And maybe you had your own parents who were abusive or sexually traumatic or traumatized you in your own way, and we don't learn how to have healthy relationships from our parents often, and so being able to talk about your own childhood and how that influenced your parenting style and your mindset and your beliefs and shaped your psyche can be a big part of the preparation work needed before reconnecting with your adult child. And you can start to learn how to break generational patterns of trauma, and you can start to have healthy relationships in ways maybe you never even saw growing up, and start to really create and manifest the positive relationship you want with your adult child. And talking with your adult child about your own upbringing and the insight you've gained from therapy on how your parents treated you can actually be really healing for your adult child to hear. And that can be a really beautiful way that families can heal after an estrangement. So counseling can help you process your own emotions, better speak to your adult child from a place of calmness and groundedness rather than reactivity or emotional intensity. And you can gain self-regulation skills to calm yourself down when you're feeling your heart rate increase or when you're feeling like yelling. You can have a therapist to really give you alternatives, and give you other ways of coping. Instead of turning to alcohol, drugs, or becoming a workaholic to numb out, you can actually start to deal with these feelings in an authentic way and gain positive coping strategies from counseling. And, family estrangement counseling can help you gain clarity and acceptance on your situation so that when your adult child does want to reconnect, you are, practicing the best self-care you can and, living a calm, peaceful life, and can really process all the things that they have to say. And you can really learn to emotionally validate your child in a way they probably have never felt from you before. So family estrangement counseling can be wonderful for parents and adult children, and even if you're a parent, to come by yourself and process the grief, the loss, and this feeling of sadness that you're experiencing. So our team at Wisdom Within Counseling specializes in family estrangement therapy, and we frequently work with parents who have an adult child who's cut them off, and the sadness that goes along with that. You may also be experiencing a cutoff not only from your adult child, but a limited and cut off relationship from your grandchildren. And you're not allowed to have contact with your grandchildren anymore, as well as your adult child, because of this cutoff. So there can be complex sadness that you can process in therapy. And you can also work with a therapist that helps you reconnect to your mind and body. So we offer mindfulness meditation, yoga, breathing techniques that also helps reduce anxiety and anger. You can also go outside for a walk and talk session by the beach, either virtually or in person in southeastern Connecticut. And we also encourage family members to process grief and loss through art, painting, watercolor, acrylic paints, and these mind-body methods can provide a sense of creativity, clarity, self-love, and self-acceptance when going through such a difficult time, such as when your adult child has cut you out. And so therapy can be a safe place to process unresolved trauma as well. And our team at Wisdom Within Counseling and Coaching would love to help you rekindle a relationship with your adult child and other family members that may be cut off as well. And you can start to build a more meaningful connection and healthy relationship through learning communication strategies and emotional validation techniques. And you can book your free phone consultation to work with myself, I'm Katie Ziskind, or our team at Wisdom Within Counseling at www.wisdomwithinct.com. That's wisdomwithinct.com. I'm Katie Ziskind, the owner of Wisdom Within Counseling, and we would love to help you rekindle a relationship with your adult child.